Hey, this is Twinkle.
And this is Star
From
Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Okay, I have a very important question today. Do you think society puts too much pressure on teens to succeed, and why?
I think yes, in a way. I think it all depends on the environment you grow in. Like for example, I come from immigrant parents, so a lot of their dreams and aspirations are laid on you. And they say like, it's put on you. It's like they want you to be what they wanted to be. But
And it's from a good place, but sometimes it can be hard.
It's hard because they're like, I gave up this and this, like, okay.
A little bit of blackmail or like manipulation, like.
But it's like, I get where it stems from, you know, unhealed. You know, we're never able to accomplish a dream, but. And also, like, let's say if you go to a privileged school, you're aimed to like want to get like the best grades, the best test grades and stuff like that. It's put on you, that pressure. But if you go to a low performing school, the bar is set low.
Yeah.
To say.
For me, I think it's less about pressure from like the outside world, and it's more like an internalized kind of pressure. Because I have very like high standards for myself, so I'm not like really trying to like impress the world or impress my parents. Yes, they want me to succeed, they want me to like have a better life than them, but it's really about me. Like I can't even lie. And how does this impact your fear of failure?
I think it has impacted my fear of failure more of like economic wise, especially what you see. And like right now, we're current seniors, so right now a lot of people are making decisions on what college they want to go to or what their next step is out of high school.
Right.
And for me right now, it's like deciding what college I want to go to. And it's kind of hard because financial aid wise, you don't know. And FAFSA is being a little hard.
What's really going on with that? I don't know.
But it's really hard. So it's like, there's also that pressure of like, what if my hard work doesn't pay off with like the financial aid? So
like
I end
4
up,
years gone to waste, and then
I end up having to go to, you know, a community college like Wake Tech. Like, no, hey, like Wake Tech looks like a good school, but
it is.
I personally feel like I put
Not
so
your
much
dream school.
I put so much effort into, you know, not being able to go to a 4-year college because the only thing that's stopping me is financial aid, and it's
Right. Me, because I have like high standards for myself, my fear of failure just kind of like skyrockets, because failure is like my number one fear besides getting struck by lightning. That's a different story for a different day. But yeah, that's my number one fear, because one little mistake can mess up your whole future, and you can't really go back in time and fix that. So
yeah, a lot of people say it's a simple mistake, people won't like, but is it really like, depending on the mistake, like it could really
very impactful.
It could really wrong place, wrong time. It could ruin the whole thing.
So thank you for sharing.
Yes.
I'm kind of curious what the public has to say. So
Let's go ask them.
let's see. I'm Twinkle.
And I'm Star
From
Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Hey, this is Twinkle.
And this is Star
From Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
And we're here at the YMCA at Southeast Raleigh. Who do we have here with us today?
Jasmine.
Well, it's nice to have you. Our first question has to do with failure. How has failure helped you?
Ooh, failure has helped me in a lot of ways, actually, especially working here. So I feel like when you're not so confident in what you're doing, failure helps you. Trying to find the right words.
To grow and like.
It helps you grow. It helps you grow, get better. Helps you learn what you are lacking, what you are confident in at the same time. So it really has helped me immensely because I now train everybody who comes in, and I think I do a good job. I say I do a good job.
I would agree. I don't know, but I would say so.
But failure has helped me in a lot of ways with that. I have also become membership engagement specialist. That means I can pretty much do everything inside of this building, a little bit of everything. So that's why failure is important, because you get to learn new things as well. Because when you fail, you learn, and then you accomplish.
Right. Awesome. And could you describe a time where you felt pressured by someone you know?
Ooh. I don't know if I felt pressured by someone I know, but mainly by people. I felt more pressure from people that I didn't know.
Ooh, interesting. Can you elaborate?
Yeah. I don't think, because I think everyone who knows me knows like my capabilities or knows my capabilities. So I feel like people who don't really know me kind of will put me in a situation, not a situation,
Like
but
a box.
like a box. And people aren't boxes. But here, I don't think I've ever.
Maybe like a parent or adult figure, maybe younger or something like that.
I know when I was a lot younger, I was put into a box a lot. Everyone kind of like marked me off as like, oh, she's just Jasmine. But it's like, I'm more than just Jasmine. I'm more than just someone being quiet. I'm more than just somebody who just kind of smiles at you. Like I do things. I say things. Hi.
I agree. Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's never been someone that I knew. It's always been like strangers that I've met, like around here, outside of here. Especially like when I was in school, that was a big thing of people putting me in a box.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
This is Twinkle.
And this is Star.
From Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Hey, this is Twinkle.
And I'm Star.
From Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And today we're at Southeast Valley Magnet High School, and we're asking a few teachers some questions. Today we're here with
Shannon Myers.
All right, here we go.
Well, what is one of the most annoying habits you see in teens today?
The fact that you guys have to have your phones in your hand all the time, like even if you're not using it, you have a really hard time putting it away when it's time to do something in the classroom, or even to take out your earbuds or anything. Even if you're not listening to music, I prefer them away and out so I don't have to guess.
Yeah, Miss Antonelli said the exact same thing, so I'm assuming all the other teachers are going to say the same thing as well.
Same thing, yeah.
I think we have like an anxiety type of like connection to it. Like, I don't know what it is. I really don't.
Yeah, my main concern is how much you guys are on there. They've done studies with students at colleges and had them go social media free for a period of time. And the kids actually got paid for their help in the study. And they've proven that you're 30% more likely to have suicidal thoughts and ideations when you spend time on social media on a regular basis.
And are you one of the teachers that use like the lockbox or like a phone case thing?
I do have a lockbox. However, we have to take so many pictures in our art classes of like to document our process, and I let the kids use it for like YouTube tutorials or things like that. That I let them have it, but like when we're talking as a group and when you're supposed to be working, you're not supposed to. I can tell when you're scrolling on your phone versus looking for something specific.
Understandable.
And our next question is, do you think there's a lot of society pressure put on teens today?
I think most of the pressure comes from social media, because what people your age and a little bit older, that like people that you would watch on social media post, is usually like the most positive version of themselves, which seems like a great idea, but it also puts the thought in you guys' heads that that everybody's perfect, that bad things don't happen to other people, or that everybody handles everything really, really well and you're not, which is not true. And it goes for people my age too. I'm Generation X, and so I didn't grow up with social media. And sometimes I realize like I'm just doom scrolling and it's time to put it away, or that maybe I should set myself a timer or something like that if I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I get it. I think that's one thing that I definitely need to utilize myself, like those kind of restrictions. All right. Do you believe feedback is a help or a hindrance?
I think it could be both. So feedback is good to, bounce ideas off of other people. I encourage my students to do it with their art. In fact, they're actually required. I think that if you're always getting feedback from the exact same people, that you're going to get the same kind of results. So it's a good idea to talk to people that you don't know, or don't know well, or people that you don't like hang out with all the time, so you get a different opinion.
All right, totally agree. And what's the most uncomfortable piece of feedback you've ever received?
I got it from another friend of mine. We worked together on photography jobs, and she always thought that when I would like jumping in the middle of a sentence, it was because I was trying to make the conversation about me, where I was really just trying to feel included. And it's a habit of people with ADD and ADHD to do that, because like we're like, oh my God, I can think of the thing, I have it, it's right there on the tip of my tongue. If I don't say it right now, I'll forget what I was gonna say.
That's literally me. Like I feel like I'm so
Yeah.
forgetful, and I find myself like jumping in just to not forget what I'm about to say. I'm excited about what I'm about to say.
Yeah, it was a little uncomfortable at the time, but I think that it helped me grow as a person. So I think sometimes feedback is gonna be uncomfortable, but that's what lets us become our best selves.
Right, absolutely. Thank you so much for your response.
Thank
welcome.
you.
This is Twinkle
And this is Star.
from
And
Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Hey, this is Twinkle
And this is Star.
from Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And today we're at Southeast Raleigh High School asking a few teachers some questions. Today we're here with,
Miss Brown?
all right,
Well, it's nice to have you. Our first question is, what is the most annoying habits teens have today?
Well, for me, it's low expectation for self. I think that at this stage, being at the high school level, we should know where we're going, or have an idea of where we're going, or have a number of paths that you'd like to take for the future. Without a plan, you know what happens.
I remember this morning you asked Brian like what were his plans and like his backup plans. So like I see that's something that you like really like find like really passionate about, to see that students have like a future ahead of them.
Yes, because that too tap into their intrinsic motivation. If you don't have a plan, if you don't have expectations for yourself, you're just gonna be spiraling, just
Right.
going around. Okay, you're gonna start something, you're gonna quit it. When you have a plan, when you sit down and think about it, what is the best thing for me to do in the future to make me independent, or whatever you value that you need, what is it that I am going to do? What are some of the steps that I'm going to take? And it's so important for us to start at an early age. At least, I don't expect you to say, okay, this is a concrete thing, because I always tell students, have a plan, a backup plan, a backup plan. Yes, but have some plan, but don't tell me, I don't know. No, that's something
Yeah.
that I'm going to have to question you further.
Right.
We need a plan.
I totally agree. I have like, I think right now as we're graduating soon, I have like, my plan is to go to a 4-year, and if that doesn't, wait tech, and if not, probably a gap year. And the least and last one is I would join the military if all comes to worst when I have to decide. So I have my backup plans on.
But
I
that's
think
good. That's important. That's important. So you're working towards something, and you're just moving and flowing wherever the wind.
That
takes
sounds like
you,
my
because
sister.
We need a backup plan.
Yeah.
We need to be able to be independent. It's so important, especially as women. If you remember, even now that we're celebrating women as a movement, it's important for us to take all that we have now
Do something
and
with it.
do something with it. Too many people fight for us to be able to
Right.
go out and do it. And not just women, but we as young people, you as young people, you need to be able to set plans and work towards them. That's important.
Absolutely.
And moving on, do you think a lot of pressure is put on teens today?
Well, this is something that I always say to my students and to even my personal children. I would not want to be living in your world right now as a teenager, because you're open to the media, the social media platforms. There's not enough space for you to earn right now. There's not enough space. Everything is recorded. People will record you before they help you.
True.
And no privacy. And there's so many temptations and so many things that are open to you. So I just pray that you make the right decisions. as
I
you
agree.
grow.
And do you believe feedback is a help or a hindrance?
Well, it depends on the receiver. Is the receiver open to this? And how did it impact that person?
Right.
Do they really value what you have to say? I think that feedback is important, because it's important for you to know what you're doing, what somebody else see outside of yourself.
Because you're only going to think
Yes.
about like the perfections in what you
Yes, it's important to see another perspective for me. But not every feedback I'm going to take and rip my life apart and put it back together. I'm going to take bits and pieces that applies. And sometimes you'll get feedback and it didn't hit home until maybe like a year or
That
so.
happens to me, yeah.
I said, oh, that's what she meant. But because we don't have that experience, we don't know what they're talking about. So it's not as valuable to you today as it will be tomorrow. But you'll remember. You'll remember what people say, especially when you're right there sitting in that particular situation. That particular feedback could have helped. So I think it is effective if the receiver is open to it.
That is a great perspective. I haven't really thought of it like that. And can you share some personal feedback that you've received that may have been like uncomfortable to take?
Well, I'm Caribbean, so most feedback that you get from friends and family, it's a straight truth, and you know it's really hard to receive the truth. So what can I remember? One I remember. I always remember my high school math teacher. Rest her soul, Mrs. Robinson. I remember that I always frown and I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't like mathematics. I don't like mathematics. And she said to me, you seem like you love this class very much. Because if you really hated mathematics as much as you claim that you did, you'd have passed it the first time and get rid of me and this math. I said, okay. But at that time, I was so mad. I said, how could she not understand? And then, I sat there and I thought about it. That's true. If I just pass this, I'll be done with it. And that's my attitude towards it ever since. I'm not going to fail it because I don't like it.
That's a good point.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
I'm Twinkle
And I'm Star.
from Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Hey, this is Twinkle
And this is Star.
from Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and today we're here with...
Miss Brown.
Okay, Ms. Brown, first question. Do you believe feedback is a blessing or a curse?
In my opinion, it is a blessing.
Can you elaborate on that?
So in order for growth to happen and for me to be a better version of myself, I do need some feedback. So take, for instance, in my job, I am a teacher. So I need some feedback in how am I teaching? Are my kids learning? I need feedback on growth for them because I might need to tweak or change something.
Describe a moment where you had to take uncomfortable feedback.
So I used to be in early childhood education, and so I was a director. And so, of course, that is very uncomfortable when your supervisor brings you in and sit down at the table and there's some papers laid out and they want to explain some feedback that maybe they had from a parent or from another teacher, a situation that happened in the classroom, or a teacher doesn't feel like it was favorable of whatever decision I made. And to hear the feedback, it is a blessing, but it's also a little unnerving because you're not sure which way it's going to go. It could go left or it could go straight. But it was still in a positive outcome for me.
For me personally, if I just want to add on to that, sometimes feedback for me can be a little uncomfortable because sometimes I'm not sure if the person is in the right state of mind, if they're doing this to criticize me or like to actually, help me progress.
And then I'm going to add on to that for you. You have to look at it for you, of course, but you also have to remember, in order for you to go to the next level, you got to remember who is the person that's talking to you. Are they an expert at whatever it is the conversation is about? That's one thing, okay? Number two, also don't take everything that's said to you personal.
Right.
So you take what you can chew up and the rest of it you spit out.
That's good. That's a good thing to hear.
And is there an instance where you ever felt pressured by someone you know?
As an adult or as a teenager or just in any kind of situation?
In any situation.
I will take myself, since you were young ladies, especially as a teenager, there was always pressure to do things that were not always favorable in my favor as far as like my future. I was a wise teen. That's a whole nother story, but there were things that I knew that I should absolutely not do. And then being honest, there were things that I did that I knew I could do it because I could get away with it, if that makes sense, okay? But however, I'm thankful for being able to have sense enough to know to say no to certain things for sure,
I
because I know
definitely
it would
agree
have
with that.
affected my future.
Yeah. Okay. And last question: do you think society puts too much pressure on teens or kids to
Absolutely.
succeed?
So I will say this as a teacher, and you guys know this because you're in high school.
Right.
There's a lot of assessments, a lot of tests. Am I totally against that? I am not. However, each child learns different, right? And so just because I'm taking one test over here that doesn't define who you are, right? Doesn't say that this is the best, this is whatever for you. However, we got to come up with more creative ways to make sure, as a teacher, I have to come up with more creative ways to see
Where
the
the
whole
student is
picture
at.
for this student versus I understand what these tests and these assessments are, but there is a pressure, and kids understand about performance. They know if they perform at a higher level of this, they'll get this. But life is not all about performance.
True.
So yes, we are testing y'all and doing all the assessments way too much for y'all.
Absolutely. I agree. Okay, thank you so much. This is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I'm Twinkle.
And I'm Star.
Thank you. Hey, this is Twinkle
And I'm Star.
from Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
And we're here at Southeast Raleigh YMCA. Who am I here with today?
My name's Felicia.
Well, it's nice to have you. Our first question is, do you think feedback is a gift or a curse?
Feedback? Okay, so feedback is definitely a gift. Feedback is always good. It always depends on how people give it to you. I think it's a lot about like how I would give feedback to someone that I'm supervising or that I'm with or who I, family or anyone. But yeah, I definitely think it's a gift, and it's something that you have to take action to work on if you want to.
And do you think how has failure helped you?
I think failure is great. I think it helps me at all my different jobs, at family, because you're learning. That's really what you're doing. At my other job, we fail forward, right? So we fail, but we learn from that and we grow and we continue to move forward and become better individuals and make better work.
And could you elaborate? What do you mean when you say feedback? Or let me rephrase this. Do you believe feedback could ever be a curse in any circumstance? The way it's like put out, or the way someone goes about giving feedback, or something along those lines?
You can't control other people's actions, right? So you'll never know necessarily when you're going to get feedback or who you're going to get feedback from. I definitely don't think it's a curse, but I think it's something maybe you'll have to work through, if it's maybe bad feedback.
Right.
But if it's good feedback, right, then you can continue to work on that and even strengthen the good things that help you grow. I still don't think it's a curse.
Okay. Could you describe a time where you felt pressured by someone you know?
Like in work or at home or what?
Anywhere. Like you do parents, friends, anything like that?
I feel like family puts pressure on people. They can, whether it be good or bad. I went to art school, and so at the end of art school, it was like, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'm going to be an artist. And, my parents put pressure on me to rethink that decision, which I did a little bit. I work at the North Carolina Museum of Art, so I still work in art. I just took a different path, and I love it. I love my job. I got feedback at the time from a professor that I could still do art, but I was really good at these other things. I was good at leadership. I was good at public speaking. So I took that feedback, and now, part of that is how I have the job that I have today. So
Awesome. Thank you so much.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is Twinkle
And I'm Star.
from Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Hey, this is Twinkle
And I'm Star.
from Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And today we're at Southeast Raleigh Magnet High School asking a few teachers some questions. Today we're here with
Miss Almond.
All right.
Well, it's nice to have you. Our first question is, what is one of the most annoying habits teens have today?
I think the phone. It's so hard, and this is not even for just teenagers. This is for adults too. I have been with my parents at dinner, and I'm trying to have a conversation, and they're on their phone. So I think it's just a societal issue because this is where we gather information nowadays.
Do you think there's a solution to this problem, or we're doomed forever?
I don't think we're doomed forever. I think as you grow older, as you grow up and you find hobbies and we all of us have to figure out a way to stop the screen time. So finding hobbies, reading a book, using your phone only for texting or, on the phone and not always strolling on social media. I think we as a person has to figure out how to separate the two.
Right.
All right. And do you think a lot of pressure is put on teens today?
Yes, I couldn't imagine being a teen today. You guys have gone through a lot. This is post-pandemic. You've gone through being isolated by yourself, and then you're thrown back into society where you have to learn it like out of the sky. You're supposed to know how to do these things. So I think being a teenager today is very difficult, and it is a lot to maneuver.
We're definitely taking it one step at a time.
Yes.
It's not easy.
And our next step is graduation.
Almost there.
Yes.
And do you believe feedback is a help or a hindrance?
I think feedback is a help. Some people take feedback as criticism, but really it is feedback just to try to help you figure out a better way. So I think it should help.
And can you share the most uncomfortable piece of feedback you've received?
Ooh, that's a hard one. That's a hard one. The most being uncomfortable. Maybe I could say getting feedback from, because we're teachers, we are looked at as they want us to tell us how students do, or on our test scores they're looking at me, but I didn't take the test, but what my kids did. So that kind of feedback is hard because then I have to reflect on what did I do and what can I do better to make sure my kids do well.
Right, I completely understand, yeah. All right, thank you so much for your response.
Thank you.
This is Twinkle
And this is Star.
from Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Hi, this is Twinkle
And I'm Star.
from Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and today we're here with.
Tisa Miller.
Hi. So the first question is, do you believe feedback is a blessing or a curse?
I think feedback is a blessing. It is a way for you to grow. When you get positive feedback, you can pat yourself on the back. When you get negative feedback or things that you need to work on, that can be a time for you to grow professionally or just in general. So I think that feedback is something that is a blessing, and it's a learning opportunity for anyone that gets feedback.
Awesome, I agree.
Describe a moment where you had to take uncomfortable feedback, and how did that help you?
So as a teacher, I always get feedback from my superior or people that are observing me, and sometimes it is uncomfortable, but it is a point to note that I can make my instruction better or my leadership role better. So it is an opportunity for me to make myself better and take in what others feel about me, and then that can make me a better teacher and leader.
And also, tell me an instance where you were pressured by someone you know.
I have been pressured by some friends. Like right now, I'm doing schoolwork, and sometimes friends want to do things, and I have to make crucial decisions on either doing schoolwork or hanging out. So sometimes it can be, I can navigate that a little better as an adult. I know you guys can understand that.
And I want to ask a follow-up question. What ends up being the main winner? Is it with your friends or doing a little teaching?
Okay. Sometimes my friends win because
they
they
should.
always.
It's important for you to have that time to yourself.
Yes, because I have to sometimes I have to have the chance to kind of decompress. So my friends win, but I do make up that time because I will shut myself down and get that work done. So
Discipline.
yes,
Important.
yes.
Awesome. And last question, do you think society puts too much pressure on teens or kids, in your case, to succeed?
I think that sometimes society can be very judgmental, and we do put a lot of pressure on teens. We need to really embrace teens and our kids and really highlight their strong points and encourage them to do their best in with whatever subjects or sports. Just encourage them to do their best at whatever level that they are at.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm Twinkle
And I'm Star.
from Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and today we're at Southeast Raleigh Elementary School. Thank you so much. Hey, this is Twinkle
And I'm Star.
from Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and today we're at Southeast Raleigh, and we're asking teachers a few questions. And we're here with today.
My name is Paige Antonelli. I'm an art teacher here at Southeast Raleigh.
Okay, awesome.
It's nice to have you. Our first question is, what is one of the most annoying habits of youth today?
That's a pretty good one. I think that typically what I'm seeing is just the constant phone use is like a huge one, just because I feel super like they're checked out. And when I'm talking, I want people to be listening to what I have to say. So that's kind of the big one for me.
I agree. I think that's what we all see, especially us as teens. We see it on a daily basis. And our next question is, do you think there's a lot of pressure put on teens these days?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, just all the things that you guys have to keep up with, whether it be school, sports, any clubs outside. Like, there's so much that you guys have to do while preparing for your future that, and I know a lot of students here at Southeast have jobs outside of school and everything too to help their families. That's something that I can imagine has immense pressure on you guys.
And who do you think the pressure is being kind of put onto by the students? Is it like a society thing? Is it parental? Is it teachers? Anything of that sort?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, our society definitely has it set up to, I think, have the most effect on that pressure. Parents, I would say, is a second. And then obviously there is a great deal of pressure that comes from the school and teachers, but you know, we're kind of all just a conduit of the society.
Right, absolutely. And next question, do you believe feedback is a help or a hindrance?
I personally find it as a help. You know, I'm an art teacher, so feedback is really important for us. It helps us grow because we know what to work on. However, if it's not constructive feedback, then that can definitely be detrimental to your feelings and kind of even push you back, like negative growth.
Right.
So.
I believe there's like a proper way to give feedback and a very improper way that can be very detrimental, as you said.
Absolutely.
And next question, what is the most uncomfortable piece of feedback you've received?
Oh, I've received feedback on even just like the way that I speak sometimes. So obviously as a teacher, I need to project myself and make sure that I'm heard. I have a pretty soft-spoken voice, and so sometimes that's difficult for me. But as soon as that was pointed out to me and given feedback with suggestions on how I can improve, that's something that is very helpful. So having those suggestions, not just, you know, saying the negative is always great. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your responses. I'm Twinkle.
And I'm Star.
From Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Hey, this is Twinkle.
And I'm Star.
From Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And today we're at Southeast Raleigh Magnet High School, and we're asking a few teachers some questions. Who are we here with today?
Mr. Ormond.
All right.
Well, it's nice to have you. Our first question is, what is the most annoying habits teens have today?
Put me on the spot right there. One thing I can definitely say is the lack of advocacy. So one thing I've seen is that a lot of teenagers just go to one person and they think like, oh, if this person can't help me, then I can't get my problem solved. And I'm trying to teach students like, hey, you got to keep on going. That's what I did back in high school a long time ago. But you have to learn how to advocate for yourself. You have to keep on going and have perseverance.
So they kind of just like try once and then give up.
Absolutely.
Yikes.
And moving to that, do you think teens are put under a lot of pressure these days?
Oh, absolutely. So I know it's kind of like, oh, old people always say that, you know, social media this, social media that. But one thing I've seen is that social media does do a lot to your mental. So when you have constant exposure to social media, it does put a lot of stress on kids that they have burdens that I don't necessarily know how to handle because I never went through that at their age.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And personally, I do feel like social media kind of puts me down sometimes, but it's something that you have to learn to kind of step away from and kind of create that boundary for yourself.
Yes.
So absolutely, I agree. And do you believe feedback is a help or a hindrance?
It can be a help, but especially if you're going to present the feedback, if it's going to be like in a constructive criticism way, definitely let the person know it's not, I'm not attacking your character, I'm just attacking, or not necessarily attacking, but addressing this one aspect or this one issue, but I'm not talking about you as the person, I'm just talking about this one action.
Right. And can you share a personal piece of feedback that you received that may have been uncomfortable or hard to swallow?
So one thing that I've received feedback is that I care too much. So that's kind of hard to swallow because, like, I'm a teacher. I'm supposed to care. So it's kind of hard when you have to deal with people who don't necessarily care as much as you do, and it's like it kind of makes them a little bit jealous, and you have to learn how to dial it back in. But it's like, I'm here for kids. I mean,
That's what you signed up for.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
why I went to college for 4 years. So
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, personally. I wish more teachers were like that.
thank you.
But thank you so much for your response.
Thank you.
This is Twinkle
And this is Star
from Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.